Hi everyone, this is how you can easily apply dynamic colors to your Elementor loop filters. The colors are being populated from JetEngine, which is a custom metafield plugin, but you can use any custom metafield plugin of your choice, including ACF, Metabox, or ACPT. When you click on each of the colors, they have three colors. The first is the normal state, then we have the hover state, and the active state. So now let's go ahead and check the backend and see how the colors were populated. So on the backend, here we have our categories, which are attached to our posts. And in each of the categories, I used JetEngine's Metabox feature to apply some color metafields to the taxonomy terms. The first I applied is for the normal states. The second metafield is for the hover state. Then you can create a third one for your active state. But in this example, I only just created two, one for the normal state and the hover state. So let's go ahead and see how it is in the example. If I come back to the example, you see we have the three of them. First, we have the normal state. Then we have the active state and the hover state. So the normal state here is red. If I hover over it, that's the hover state. And the second thing I added is if any of those states were not added, let me show you an example. If I come back to categories, if I go back and I come to web design, you notice I only applied the normal state. I didn't apply a hover state. So in this scenario, then the color will come from a default color that I've applied in my CSS. So if I come back, you see in the CSS, so when I hover over this, it goes to black because nothing was applied. But when something is applied, it takes that hover color. Same with the active color. If nothing was applied in the meta field, then it takes the default color that we have set up. Now, the code snippets is in two sections. First, we have a general CSS. Then we have a PHP that basically pulls in the dynamic colors and assigns them to a custom variable. So now let me go ahead and show you the code snippets. Everything will be in the description, so you can just go ahead and easily check it out. So I'll come to my Elementor editor, and you notice I only have two things here. We have the taxonomy filter and the loop grid. So if I come to the taxonomy filter, you'll notice, okay, it is connected to the loop grid 1, and it is pulling taxonomy called categories. Then this is where you apply the CSS under the advanced tab of the taxonomy filter. Come down to custom CSS and you apply the CSS here. If you don't want to apply the CSS here, you can go ahead and under layout, give it a class name. Then you just simply replace wherever you see selector in the CSS with your class name and everything should work. So you can now take this CSS and put it in your code snippets plugin if you like. So the CSS is just broken down based on the comments into 6 sections. The first 3 are for the different categories, while the last 3 are for the all. So we have the normal states, then we have the active states, and finally the hover states. The only thing we need to note here is the CSS variable name I'm using. This is called DD filter color normal for the normal states. The active state is just the same thing, DD filter color active, DD filter color hover. So that's the colors we're using for the different categories. But for the all states, I'm defining them manually myself. So this way you just change these colors for your active states. Then the next thing we need to do is apply the PHP. So you can use any code snippets plugin of your choice. Because it's PHP, either you apply it to your child theme or you use a code snippets plugin. So all that we are going to be changing here is the taxonomy name. In this case, it's called category. That is the slug of your taxonomy. You can easily find it by hovering over your taxonomy name. So if I come to the post and I hover over categories, way down at the bottom, you see the URL bar there, which says taxonomy is equal to category. So that main category is what we will now place in here. The second thing is the metafields for each of those colors. So if I come back to my post, you see this is the metafield name, and then this is the key called bg_color. You can copy that, or if you go to your JetEngine or whichever metafield plugin you're using, I'm going to, here I'm using JetEngine meta box, so I'll go to JetEngine measure boxes, then I'll enter the meta box, and you'll see all of them here. So these are the keys, bg_color for the first one. The hover one is called bg_hover_color. So that is what you replace in the code, the taxonomy, and the color. So color, hover color, and active color. Those are the only things you need to change. The rest of the code should work just fine. It will have a condition for if the color has been set or not. It will now either apply that color or just apply nothing. So you don't need to worry about every other part of the code, just the top 4. Okay, so let me go back. Then the other thing you need to note is within the custom variables, you see I put a comma and then I defined another color. So this is going to be the fallback color if there was no color set. So in this case, let's say for the normal state, I want the background color to be, let's give it like pink, or you can use the hex colors. So maybe the FF0000. So for this ones, okay, every one of them was defined, so it will not affect anything. But let's say for the hover states now, rather than black here, I'll do the same thing here. And I'll call it hashtag FF0000. Now when I hover over the web design, see, it becomes red because nothing was defined for it as a meta field. So that's how simple and easy it is to apply the code. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please do leave a thumbs up so that I know that you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.